Pencil power. Why, hello there, art adventurers. I actually recorded this whole episode of Drawing Wizards Sketch Practice Diaries edition, but apparently it wasn't recording. But it's actually a beautiful thing because one of the main things that I talked about in that recording was the learning process, and what one of the keys is learning. The biggest key that I learned from Andrew Huberman's neurobiological research that he shares on YouTube. I definitely check that stuff out, but I'll be giving you the basics here, is that repetition is one of the most important keys. So I'll show you what we went through. I'm combining a lot of the different things from the different videos that we've had. The gesture drawing video, which is the first Sketch Practice Diary, kind of following the process in the Pokemon shape language video, and the jigsaw puzzle piece. Like these are all the jigsaw puzzle pieces here, and then we build upon them, making the puzzle pieces smaller. And then the repetition here in drawing the characters again, and then I went ahead and made it my own by putting them into a different pose, which is cool because I actually really like this pose. I did it with this character and this guy. So we're actually going to go ahead and do it again, and this is going to be a wizard themed episode. So we're going to learn how to draw wizards. And so in the practicing world, let's see, what does this one look like? This is another last one. In the practicing world, the important things to do are focus and repetition. That's what's going to create neuroplasticity. It's going to trigger neuroplasticity, right? This I'm taking from my Pinterest board of cool fantasy characters. All right, I love collect all these different things, and we'll just find some nice wizards here, and we'll work from there. And so repetition, as well as what's it called? Focus. The focus helps to make sure that the parts in your brain that will need to be revamped. Look at this guy. Maybe I'll do this guy. He's a little bit too stylized. I'll actually do her, because I want to keep certain things like the wizard's hat and certain elements of the wizards, or this guy you see, but I don't love that one as much. And then actually the third thing, so I'll actually make a video about this: focus, repetition, and urgency. These are the things that are going to create neuroplasticity and help you learn better. And then as you focus, acetylcholine triggers certain parts of your brain to like basically change while you're sleeping, to be rewired. Oh, this is cool. So yeah, let me find a wizard that I'm liking. You know what? I'm liking this wizard. He's got the main features that I'm looking for. As you can see in the last ones, we got the pointy wizard's hat. So the urgency, is another thing. I'm not going to focus so much, but I'm kind of thinking, like, imagine I need to draw a wizard for some, like I've been hired to create the coolest stereotypical wizard for some new game that's coming out, and I got to do it tomorrow. So there's some urgency in learning this stuff. That's going to help me increase my focus. So first we're going to put down a gesture. I'm going to use kind of the gesture style that I show in the sketch diary video. So it's like, so I won't go into like the details about that too much. Just really quickly putting them in like this. This foot's looking forward. This foot's. I'm already seeing things that when I made the first video, certain aspects that I've already learned. So I'm actually getting better and better pretty quickly. So here, like the pointy foot, see how the foot's pointy? I noticed that the point is on the inside. It's not right in the middle of this triangle, so this kind of has some sort of shape like this, right? So that's a nice little thing that I'm picking up, and that the foot has this little dip in here. I'm going to use the foot drawing method, basically, that I did before to get the structure in. I have a video on that as well. And put in the hands here and here, and just put some quick sticks for the hands like that. And then let's put some structure on top of this. So the next step would be to do the structure. So I like to put the forearms in before, so I'm actually seeing that this forearm's coming up quite a bit. This forearm's over here, and that's about it. I don't want to get too crazy. I like to put we don't even need to put the legs in that much because they're going to be covered up. But here we already have a basic idea of the form. That's enough to get us started and get into the puzzle piece portion of this. So in the puzzle piece method, I feel like this foot's a little big. That's popping out to me. So let's go ahead and use our foot drawing method like that. Cool. So now we're going to look at using these, like looking at all the shapes on this pretty complicated little figure, but we're going to break it down into the most basic shapes we can. So the first thing is the hat. I could literally, like one thing I don't even want to get it 3D yet. Let's just super simply, I'm seeing like one shape like this, another shape is a triangle, and then like some zigzag, right? That's kind of the basic shape that we're looking at. We're going to refine it in the next stage. His beard, most basically, I actually found that wizard beards tend to be like carrots. Alright? So we got his carrot beard. We're going to get the swirls in there later. I've also noticed that wizards in these different, the ones that I've looked at, tend to have these high collars. Right? So that's a cool feature to remember. Putting in high collars. Another thing is they tend to have an outer robe and an inner robe, I'm noticing. So his outer robe kind of like this. And they tend to fall as like triangles. Or like this kind of a shape. And then he's wearing pants. Some of them have a robe that goes all the way down like that. But he is wearing pants, so let's go ahead and give him some baggy pants. So these are kind of flaring outwards. Can't really see too much what's going on. We've got two triangles on the inside, and then a shorter triangle in the middle. Cool, two lines like that for these strings, which is pretty neat. We've got some triangles as the buttons on the robe. We can't see that one. The scroll is going to be like a U shape, just keep it simple for now, with two rectangles here and here. Cool. Even the fingers. I got one shape here, triangle like there. That's it. Keep it as simple as possible. And we got some glasses. We could put a triangle in for the nose if we want. And the other thing is that wizards often have these, what's it called? Long sleeves, which I represent with like that one. It seems like it's better to do 3D, but it's basically like, okay, what is it doing? Something like this probably, right? And then if it's coming more forward, then you don't see as much of the, we'll see, like I'm just kind of seeing what trying to notice what I see and then translating it. So that's basically it. Here we can see that the outer robe a little bit. But okay, cool. So now I've got the basic first level of the puzzle piece. I'm going to make this, lower the opacity, and we're going to go in and then get the second level of puzzle piece detail. We could zoom in a little bit, maybe make our brush a little smaller, and say, all right, what are the shapes now that we're looking a little bit more closely? So I'm seeing that there's some kind of, I'm going to refine the shape of the hat, and first thing I'll do is actually, I'm not even going to go into the details like that again. Just going to notice that the hat's kind of coming around like that. There's a belt, and this actually seems a little bit further. And now here maybe I can go like that and give it a little bit more character. This wizard hat's got his little zigzags are going pretty far. Pretty far zigzags. I'm not going to worry about making them exact. Though that might be something I might come back and study if I really like the shape language on this. He's got some rings on his wizard's hat. See, that's an interesting detail, which I've kind of, I didn't pay attention to until just now, though. Looking closer, and there's some leafy shaped things hanging off of him. Cool. He's got his glasses, and actually they're rounder. And his nose is here. And what is his hair? What's his hair shape like? We'll just make it something like that for now, with an ear in front. We don't need to get the details. We're still just looking at shapes. His chin, his mustache, it's got something like that. His beard shape, it's kind of flaring out a little bit, but mostly moving forward. So something like that. Again, we're just getting an idea. This is the focus stage. After this, we're going to go into the repetition stage, where I'm going to draw him like very quickly multiple times. Okay. Next, we're going to look at, okay, what is this he's got on here? With a ring, it's like a tassel thing. All right, interesting. We've got the sleeves coming down like this. We've got something on the forearm. We've got the hands looking at two sections. One is those fingers and one is the top finger. You can see a thumb underneath from behind. I can tell now that my things aren't exact because this is overlapping the beard when it isn't in the image. But again, I'm just kind of trying to learn the shapes. I'm not going to worry about the details too much. If we get the shapes, I found that if you get the shapes right in general, then it actually looks like you get the character. You know, it doesn't have to be super perfect. So here we've got, what are these? So we've got a diamond with a triangle, so now I'm getting more detail into these. Diamond with a triangle. These are swooping down. Here's another diamond with a triangle assuming, but you can't see the triangle side. Cool, he's got a tassel at the end of these too. These are really interesting details that I might, utilize in my own characters or artwork at some point. It's like, oh, what are these tassels? Can we add tassels to things? Is that what I want to do for my stereotypical wizard that I'm designing for a super important video game? I might add some tassels somewhere. We've got this, cool. And I think we're pretty much done. What are we doing with the feet, the shoes flare out a little bit. And this one, shoes flare out just a little bit and kind of scrunch up. Okay, great. So we basically got the idea. Now, I want to draw him again, and actually I want to point out that this is pointy. That's a cool detail. So the main thing I want to do now is draw him again as quickly as possible, a couple times. This might not be the best because the silhouette isn't super clear, so this isn't the easiest wizard to do from, using the shape language stuff because there's a lot of overlapping, but, we're already doing it. So let's go ahead and draw him 2 more times as fast as possible. I'm not going to worry too much about any details. I just want to remember the things I remember. So I remember the swoopiness of the beard. I remember the mustache was like this. And then I can look back, but I'm trying not to look back too much. I actually didn't do the gesture. Usually I would do the gesture first, but you know what? Let's just do this one freehand because we're just trying to remember all these details. There's a tassel. What does a tassel look like? See, I forgot. Okay, it's like that. I know there's his long sleeve, and his arm was kind of coming up like that. One finger, and the rest of the fingers I had them bunched together. I know the hand's supposed to be on this side of the beard, but it's okay. We're still, the puzzle pieces are still there, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Okay, now the arm has come way farther out, but again, the puzzle pieces are still there, so I'm not gonna worry about it. So I know he's got his outer robe. It's going to come down like this, and we've got some tassels. Oh yeah, they're on these strings. So they basically bunch, they're wrapped, and they come out. Wrapped, and they come out. Let's just leave it like that. On the other side, we can see one tassel on the string, wrapped, and it comes out. Cool. Now remember, we've got two of these triangles and one higher up triangle. That's a really cool detail. So we can do variations on like that on our own characters. And then the baggy pants, these come in. This was a little bit flared out, bunched. The point is more towards the center, flared out. Cool. And that's it. So I can tell that, like, okay, this part, wait, this part's too long, right? The proportions are out of whack because I didn't do a gesture or structure underneath. And actually, I want to look at his hat a little more. Oh yeah, I forgot. So this was pointy on this side. There are rings with some cool things dangling off of it. And that was pointy there. There's a little buckle on his thing, and these are actually bunched up a little there. Okay, cool. Great. One down. So actually, I'm not going to worry about, fixing this because that's not really the point. I just want to do a bunch of repetitions. It's okay to make mistakes. Apparently, the repetitions, it doesn't matter if you do it like, like accurately or not. It's actually the more repetitions, the better. And so to do a bunch of less than ideal repetitions, because they were saying, like he was saying, that it's kind of a myth that the perfect practice makes perfect. I think it's important, like you said, to focus, but actually to focus on like one thing. But anyways, I'm going to make a video on learning tips and stuff at some point that I've learned. But and I'm doing things different ways. Like I'm not really using the method for foot drawing on this real quick, but now I can kind of test it out to see, like, okay, does it have that structure? Yeah, there we go. I think I made the legs a little too long. Yeah, so let's go ahead and fix that real quick. And actually, one thing that I was saying in the other video that didn't get recorded is redraw things. Like instead of actually moving them with the tool, if you're doing working digitally, it actually, like, it's good to redraw things because then you get more repetition. So let me just redraw that foot. Like that. And this one actually seems a little more straight down. So I'm noticing details. And sometimes you get scared because you're like, oh, I actually drew it well. I don't want to redraw it, but then it's like, wait, but I should be able to do it well every time. And the way that that'll happen is by doing more repetitions. So especially if you're practicing, if it's not like a finished product, redraw things. That'd be my advice. So let's start with the scroll this time. It doesn't, I'm not going to be too picky about where I start. And I'm noticing, oh, this is cool how it has like that bend in the middle. It's got like a curve like that. So I'm kind of, each time I'm redrawing these, I can make the shapes a little more refined. I can notice a little more detail, which is cool. And so now that I've drawn the hat a couple of times, I know it's pointy in the back. And I know that it's got these hanging guys. Oops, that one's in the wrong area. It should hang here. And it should come out pretty far in the front too. It's got the little belt here. This is bunched up. So you can see how already now I'm able to draw the character, or at least draw the, like, I've learned a lot. Like I've learned how the beard flows. I've learned how the hat like sits. The hand position and stuff like that. Here we've got the long sleeves. These tassels, they're skinny and then they pop out. So I'm really actually in what's it called? Expanding my visual library. Oops, I forgot. The collars, the high collars, a very wizardy thing apparently from the ones I've been watching. I'm expanding my visual library and I'm kind of like naturally, like that's a little high. Let's make this come maybe right there. tassels like that, tassels like that. And so I'm expanding my visual library, and I'm becoming more confident drawing this character and all the little details. So actually these come spiking in like that. Okay, you guys might not be able to tell what's going on, but again, this is practice, so it's more important than I'm like making the... And so actually these are, yeah, the pants come down, they're baggy up to here. This comes out, it's kind of bunched up, and then the foot, this comes out a little bit, it's kind of bunched up, and then the shoe. Okay, cool. So now that I've done it a couple times, we've got an idea of how this wizard works. Now let's try to draw him in a completely new pose to see what I've understood. So this is going to be to make it my own, to really see if it's integrated. So what kind of a pose should we do? What if he's holding this? Oh, he doesn't have a staff. He has a... Oh, interesting. Yeah, this wizard doesn't have a staff. So what if he's holding the scroll in front of him, with his arms kind of reaching out? Maybe his back is arched. And I don't know, what if his legs like that? I don't know. This is a crazy pose, but we'll just go ahead and do it. Because it doesn't really matter the pose too much as long as it's somewhat realistic. Not realistic in like he would actually do it, but like that anatomically reasonable pose. Then let's do it and let's challenge ourselves. So remember, he's got a point in the back, and the front is more rounded on his wizard's hat. We've got it flares out. We've got the what to call the little crooks eyes. We've got the wizard thing. This thing's coming in front like that, following the shape of the chest. And then his tassels, these ones might be flying around now, because it looks like he's casting some kind of intense spell. Long sleeves on the arms. This one too, long sleeve here. Okay, this thing is also maybe, you know, flying out. These tassels are everywhere, so that's pretty cool. I like these tassels because they kind of, you know, give a little more action to the scene. We've got his baggy pants that come down past that robe area, so actually a little bit further, maybe down to there. And then we know that one spike, these things kind of like spike towards the middle, and there's a higher one in there. Cool. His pants stick out, and then he's got his shoes. These stick out a little bit, bunch up, and then we've got his feet. And actually here I want to use the foot drawing method from the tutorial video I did on that to get the structure a little bit better. Okay, cool. That looks good to me. Good enough. And let's see, can I use the same kind of hands for the scroll? Yeah, that looks like it works. Remember that the scroll had this little dip in the middle, which I like. So I'm going to bring that back in. And then the dip up here. Cool. And it's pretty messy, but actually I basically managed to get this guy's vibe. Oh yeah, let's look at the wizard hat a little more. Cool. This one dips down further. And then, oh yeah, and then his collars. So I don't know why I keep forgetting that. Nice. And then he's got some hooks there. Some hook here. And that's pretty much it. We've drawn him in this new pose. I don't know what's happening here. Alright, cool. Let's do one more wizard. So this is great because I had already, when I recorded this video, like this one should be perfect. There's a slightly different body shape, but a similar vibe, you know, similar form. So I'm actually I'm getting a little bit burnt out, you know, I feel like I need to take a break. So I'm actually going to try to do this even quicker now that I've drawn a bunch of wizards. So I've done this a couple times. So let's see if I can recognize the shapes and just kind of build it again like the puzzle piece method. Just go straight to the puzzle piece. I'm not even gonna, alright, I'll do a little gesture. I'll do a little gesture. So I feel like, you know, it's okay to combine, you know, like it's nice to work systematically, but then to also be able to combine methods and just kind of flow with things and say, oh, do I need a gesture here, or would this be more of a puzzle piece type vibe? I'm just gonna scoot him over. Cool. So see, he's got his long robes. He's got another long sleeve. This one's got, you know, a bigger belly. Here, there's some U-shaped stuff, 3 U-shaped things. Oh, see, look at this. Interesting. We've got the inner spikes. Remember that from the last guy? And this guy's wearing a robe instead of the baggy pants. And I remember this robe has a slit in the middle. That was another feature from one of the first wizards I drew in the video that didn't get recorded. And I'm going to go ahead and just let this move down. We've got this kind of shape. And I'm seeing this as a block. See, so I'm actually going to use some 3D shapes. So this is going to help me out here. For this one, I'm going to use the foot drawing method that I have in that other tutorial. Cool. And there's actually these little wings here. That's a cool little feature. With these petal-shaped kind of things. How would we do the hands? One, another rectangle, another rectangle. These ones aren't really helpful, so I'm just going to keep them as rectangles, but it's not really an easy one to simplify. But we'll just go ahead and do that. Here we've got like a square with the one finger coming out, and the rest of the fingers I'm just going to do like that. They're kind of following that general pattern for now. And he's got his swirly swirl happening over here. It's a happy fellow, and I'm seeing that the wizard's hat actually, so one thing I'm learning is that the wizard hat goes down pretty far in the back. That's a common feature, and that it also has some kind of ring-a-ding around the top. You know what I'm saying? Is this a tassel? Is that a tassel up in there? I think so. Great, so wizard's got some tassels going on. Oh, and also the triangle. So this wasn't on the last one, but on one of the wizards I drew, he also had a triangle thing on top of his robe. He's got a couple over here, and he's got an under, like some pauldrons sort of things. So both of the first wizards I drew in the other video that didn't get recorded had these pauldrons. So that's it. So we've got the basic idea here for this wizard. So again, I can go ahead and draw him quickly here. So let's do the gesture. And keep it somewhat simple. And this one, maybe I can just do like that for now. And that's it. That's basically the gesture there. We know that he's looking this way. Put the nose in to indicate that. And we've got the beard like hanging. This one's puffing out more, so it's still got a carroty vibe, you know, carrot beard, but it's a wider carrot, you know. And it's interesting because maybe he's a wider character, so the beard's matching that. Maybe that's like a repetitive shape language type thing. This is a similar process that I did for the Pokemon drawing video, that I did right before, studying the shape language of Pokemon, random Pokemon drawing challenge. Got our tassel. So it's interesting to start to notice similar like ideas like that. Like, okay, since we're kind of, oh, and he has something on his back with these things sticking out. Cool. So I'll just do one more of these and then I'm going to draw him in my own pose. I know I'm rushing a little here, but this is going to be a longer video. Oh, and see, I'm noticing more details. So this is the thing about drawing them more than once, is that you start to notice more and more details. Look at how many daggers he's got. That's a cool feature. I do like that. Are those daggers or are those wands? This looks like it could be a wand holster. It's a super neat idea. And then rope. You've got to have rope. If you're adventuring about, have rope. And then look at this. On this side, he's got a book. All these little details, I just ignored them because I'm looking for the biggest shapes. But these are important little cool shapes too. So he's got his dagger. He's got his wand holster. Cool. I feel like I'm learning so much about wizards. And I want to invent my own wizard. So I might do a character design video after, like, you know, and follow up to this. So these are like the pointy ones, and underneath. Yeah, I might do a character design video to draw a wizard following up with this. And I wonder if I'll do that here on my other channel, Pen and Blade. I'll probably do it here if it has more to do with drawing and character design rather than character design in the sense of like coming up with a Dungeons and Dragons or fantasy type character for a game or something, more about design from a drawing perspective. But this is pretty cool. I love some of the details on this guy. He's got a little bracelet. And then he's doing his little swirly swirl. That's it. And he's a happy fellow. Cool. I think that's it. Let me give one more look over to see that I got it. Alright. So now I'm going to put this guy in a different pose. Final piece of the puzzle here. Let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll call it a day. So this guy, what if he's reaching for his wand holster? Okay, he's like about to quick draw something in there, right? And then, which way is he looking? For some reason I want him have him looking that way. I don't know. And then his other hand is right here on his holster. And his legs are just wide, whatever. Keep it simple there. Okay, cool. Let's go with this pose right here. Alright. So we're going to put in his hat, and remember, it's not skinny like this. This is one of the things I'm learning. But you can actually see a lot in the back there. His is pretty straightforward and not too like crookedy and stuff like some of the other wizards that I've drawn. We don't want to forget his tassel though, very important. His beard, we can still have it rolling over, yeah, the front of his chest there, because he's facing this way with his body, but his head's looking back. Maybe he just heard something in the bush. But he's still happy about it. Why is he happy about it? Who knows? No, he's not happy about it. Let's make him a little more serious. He's got these guys on his back with the scrolls, right? And his arm, so we know he's got a long sleeve, but his arm's kind of turning back. I'm not sure how that would look exactly. See, he's got his hand on his holster. This is a little bit of a trickier pose. Now I wonder if it's because I didn't do as many studies and I kind of rushed this one a little bit that I feel like I'm having a little more trouble. But that's okay. This is all for the learning. He's got his dagger. The dagger's above the holster. Sure, let's put it up there. And then his hand is reaching for one of the wands. Okay, cool. His book is over here. So he's got a long sleeve, right? Again, we'll just connect it over This side, he's had the triangle thing, and underneath it you can see these like some leather thing underneath there, kind of shoulder protection probably. He's got these bigger, and then the other thing is rings. We've noticed that we've got rings hanging, you know, from different stuff on both of these characters, and we've got this inside inner robe that's kind of pointing inwards, right? So that's another one we've learned. This guy's got a proper full-on robe, probably wearing baggy pants underneath, who knows. He's kind of got these square shoes with little wings on them, so I'm guessing he can fly. Square shoe here. Nice. And I think that's about it. I had his arms out like that. Is that gonna work? One thing, I'll give you a quick folds tip. I'm gonna do a whole video about folds soon, I think, because I'm starting to make a breakthrough. But just a super quick one. See how this is where, so if something's stretching like that, you can imagine that the folds are kind of coming out of it like this. So if it was like a knee, you can see how these folds would come from this point, right? Then also where they bend, there's going to be folds. So if there's like an arm going like this, and the folds will follow the general shape of the thing, but then there also might be folds pulling from the elbow. So here I've got this over here, so I'm kind of going to have these folds coming out. I'm not sure if you can really see that, but hopefully that was helpful. But if not, wait on the fold video and I'll be a lot more clear. Actually, I think I've discovered that there's three basic kinds of folds, but I don't want to. I need to experiment and practice to make sure that's true, and then I will share with you what I've discovered. So it's cool. I actually really like how this guy turned out on in this new pose. He looks like he's ready for action. I'm about to pull out his wand, and if I went in and went ahead, oh, and then the robe is divided in the middle there. That's another thing I learned. He actually has an under robe. It looks like he's got a bow sticking out in the back that I didn't see before. A lot of cool details. Alright, well, I hope this video recorded, and if it did, I hope that it has imbued you with just a little bit more pencil power.